Last night, at the White House, where apparently we have UFC fights now, a heavyweight fighter took the mic after his win, looked at the crowd, looked at the President of the United States sitting right there and said,
Michelle Obama is a man. Am I right, America?
"This is a woman who spent 8 years in that building. Ivy League education, zero scandals. When they go low, we go high herself. She followed every rule they gave her, every single one. And a decade later, she is still the punchline on the South Lawn. So I want to ask only the question that matters. What did any of that get her? And what lessons are there here for the rest of us? Let's get into the lion's share. There's a contract that gets sold to black women in this country, and it goes something like this: be excellent, be dignified, stay above the fray, don't make waves, don't make people uncomfortable. And in return, we're going to respect you. We will accept you. We will meet you where you are. And Michelle Obama exemplifies that. She was the most scrutinized woman in the country for 8 years straight, and she gave them nothing to work with. Nothing. But that didn't matter. She fist bumped her husband on stage, and Fox News put it on screen that it was a terrorist fist jab. A county official in West Virginia called her an ape in heels on Facebook, with her government title right next to her name. And for over a decade, mainstream right-wing media built an entire empire, monetized ecosystem around the claim that she was secretly a man. And these weren't the fringe corners of the internet. Mainstream, millions of views, millions of dollars, an industry built entirely on erasing her womanhood, simply because she didn't fit into the waifish Victorian aesthetic that they call feminine around here. They vilified her the same way they did Venus and Serena Williams, simply because she had the audacity to walk around in a black body. She followed every rule, jumped every hurdle, and still, not one of them protected her. Now I want you to think about Nancy Reagan, because while Michelle Obama was absorbing all of that in silence, those same institutions were busy protecting somebody whose actual record they knew about and covered up anyway. Because before he was president, Ronald Reagan was a federal informant. Documented, declassified, he was in the room naming names, destroying careers and the lives of fellow actors. And right there next to him was Nancy. They used the machinery of the federal government as a weapon against their colleagues to protect their own skins. And they got canonized for it. The same establishment that demanded Michelle Obama take the high road, those same institutions took that woman and built her into the ultimate symbol of American dignity, conservative values, Miss Just Say No, the pristine First Lady. And if you know anything about her reputation in Hollywood when she was Nancy Davis, you know the word pristine is doing some serious heavy lifting here. But I digress. They knew. They chose. So while Reagan's issues are covered, protected, institutionally blessed, it's Michelle Obama that gets called a man, or a monkey, or basically anything that isn't her government name, really. And here is what makes this a system and not just a story. Because the establishment didn't sell this contract to just Michelle Obama. They sold it to every black woman in America. Go to school, work hard, and we will meet you there. And black women did exactly that. Within their own community, black women earned 64% of all bachelor's degrees, 71% of all master's degrees, and nearly 66% of all doctoral, medical, or dental degrees. And their labor force participation rates consistently exceeds all other cohorts of women. And they start businesses at 6 times the national average. By every measurable input, they've held up their end of the bargain. So what is the machine giving back? Well, black women are paid 65 cents on every dollar paid to a non-Hispanic white male. And on average, black women are paid 12 to 17% less than white women doing the exact same work. And that may not sound like life or death to some, but to sisters, it kinda is. The CDC says black women die in childbirth at more than 3 times the rate of white women. And here's the kicker: a black woman with a college degree is still more likely to die from pregnancy-related complications than a white woman who never finished high school. You can have the diploma, you can even have the corner office, and the system will still let you bleed out on a delivery table faster than a white high school dropout. That's not a gap. That's the contract showing exactly what it always was. The deal was never real. It was not a contract. It was a leash, designed to keep folks passive, absorbing the punishment quietly so people don't get too uncomfortable. Dignity as a survival strategy got sold as a political strategy. But those are not the same things. And I am done watching us bend over backwards to be fair to folks who are calling our women men and monkeys. And apparently so is Jasmine Crockett. In 2024, on the floor of the House, Marjorie Taylor Greene looked at Crockett and took a shot at her eyelashes, on the record, in a congressional hearing. And Crockett did not go high. She used her own rules of parliamentary procedure to ask on record whether calling someone
bleach blonde, bad built butch body, that would not be engaging in personalities, correct?
in just 6 words, Jasmine Crockett shook the world. And here's what did not happen. She didn't get marginalized. She didn't lose her seat. She did not become a cautionary tale of what happens when a black woman stops being polite. She went viral and built a national profile. She launched a merchandise line off of that moment and turned that disrespect into direct campaign fundraising. She didn't find a moral victory. She found a material one. This is not recklessness. This is someone who correctly read the game and adjusted accordingly. For generations, the establishment has told black women that the only way to survive is to smile, stand straight, and take it all with grace. But a UFC fighter just stood on the South Lawn of the White House and called Michelle Obama a man in front of the sitting U.S. president. So, what I would say is if they're going to treat you like you've been swinging the whole time anyway, then it's time to remind them of something that black men have long known. That while some women were kept as pets and accessories, historically, black women have been queens and warriors, wives and generals. That when it comes to sisters, if you can't respect Michelle's mind, you should expect to get Jasmine's mouth in return. And that has been the lion's share. I am out. Y'all stay excellent to each other. Leave a like, a comment, really helps the channel grow. Peace.